Cowboys did it last night.
Yes, they did, man.
The Cowboys, we talked about it on Friday that this did seem to be lining up, that the Eagles are not playing great football right now. The Cowboys are playing really, really good football. Cowboys have regained a home field advantage that they never seem to really have at Jerry World. All of that came together. Dak Prescott is playing at a really high level as well. Mike McCarthy was not in the building for a couple days, helped him get even better.
Oh, yeah. Is that what it was? Is that what pushed him over the edge? No.
The Cowboys get a big 20-point win, 33-13 over the Eagles on Sunday Night Football. It was never really a game. It always felt like the Eagles were about to score and kind of come back into it. There was always the thing of, well, if they get one score here, it could be a game, and the Cowboys just did not allow it.
Except once, when they got the defensive touchdown, is when it felt like, here we go.
Yeah, it did. When Dak Prescott the arm came around.
Can't explain it.
Yeah. I mean, he wasn't used to getting pressured like that, and he thought he'd get away from it. It was good defensive play and a scoop and score for the Eagles. The turnover ratio, we got that one, which was a scoop and score, so it was a big one, but the Eagles did turn the ball over 3 times in that game. That was one of the problems is, they would get a little bit of momentum going and they would turn the ball over. You can't have that many. I think this Cowboys team, we throw in the fact that they, whether or not it's the way they wanted to get it done, they did get 138 rushing yards against this Eagles team.
I don't think they really cared how they got it done as long as the score came out looking the way it
did.
did.
But I'm just saying the rushing yards is if you're playing, you think, okay, well, we'll have Tony Pollard will have a big game or, but they got, Rico Dowdle and Tony Pollard shared carries and they did okay in the game. They were able to get 138 rushing yards, which means it opens it up for Dak Prescott to go out there and have a game where he plays really good, doesn't have to force things throughout the game, goes for 271 and 2 touchdowns. Ferguson is really stepping up in that role that we thought he was going to be a little bit earlier in the season, but it seems like he's coming on right now to be the tight end that Dak Prescott needs. Everything seems to be going well for the Cowboys, and we can even say his defense that has been porous at times, and something that I brought up that I think that there's people who know that Dan Quinn's tells. And we saw it in Seattle, we saw it against San Francisco, we saw it against the Cardinals, where teams just seem to know what his tells are about how he's lining up, about how he's doing things. Micah Parsons lined up in a lot of different places and was doing some different things, and I think he's starting to figure out what those tells are.
Right.
And starting to correct them. And again, this game, it looked like they couldn't figure out what Micah Parsons was where he was coming or what he was going to be doing, and it didn't signal off the rest of the defense that Dan Quinn seemed to short up a bit. We'll see. You're still going to have to, see if Dan Campbell figures it out or Ben Johnson, someone over there. If somebody else can figure it out again this season, the Eagles definitely couldn't.
Well, that's my favorite part about this win is where it happened, because you talked about the diving off the cliff after peaking in December.
Yeah.
But with the lineup of games they have coming up, going to Buffalo, going to Miami, playing Detroit at home, you have to stay ready. There is no opportunity to fall off the cliff until you get to Washington in Week 18. So they're going to be battle-tested and ready to go heading into the playoffs if they keep playing like this. And Dak is cementing his spot in the MVP race if he can run through this string of games playing like he did last night.
No, he is definitely pushing himself up in that MVP race. And what's funny is he's now getting to the part where he doesn't have to have 400 yards to stay in that MVP conversation, where I think that...
Well, neither does Brock Purdy.
No, but that's my point, is he's not having to have those games, but he's still having a very... Like when we came in there, I told you I can say it, that becomes off as a jerk move, but it's like he looked like he had a better game statistically than he did. So if you watch the game, you thought, man, Dak Prescott's killing it. He's doing a great job. And then 271 2Ds, not a bad line, but I would have been surprised he didn't have 300 yards. That's what I'm saying. Is I tested the game. I thought he did even better than what his stats look like, which is a good thing.
That's fair. I just get, and the reason it rubbed me wrong when you said it to me.
Oh no, I said it to be a jerk.
I know you said it to be a jerk, but also I get tired of people saying that Dak can't win the big game and then discount every single one of his big wins, which I've done that. I've definitely done that before. But this, like I said, the week leading up to this feels different. Dak and McCarthy have figured something out. Dak's a dad now. I guess that changes things. But
wasn't that somebody? Or he's not a dad. He's expecting, right?
He's expecting,
and I saw there was some announcer who said it was the worst thing that could ever happen.
Really?
Yeah, there was some.
Because I've seen a bunch of people talk about all these stats.
If you wonder why I don't do hot take radio a lot?
Yeah,
it's because guys have hot take radio makes you go down past where you go. Dak Prescott becoming a father, career's over, guys. It was the bad hot take. Well, I can't remember who it was.
There's our very first ever and our last Patrick Davis hot take radio. No, there's other factors that factor into it, but something just, I don't know what helped him realize it. I don't know if McCarthy is talking to him slower during meetings. Something sunk in to where he's hitting that second foot, and if the read's not there, he's dumping it down or getting out of the pocket. And it's really fun to watch. I love seeing the Cowboys play like this.
You know what I'll tell you, and this is because I don't like Mike McCarthy still.
Okay.
I think that Dak is figuring out how to do things on his own for a part, where he's saying, okay, this is the overview, but I don't need to take it because he was with Kellen Moore, who Kellen Moore is very much more of I'm going to tell you everything you need to do. And I think there was a learning curve with him with Mike McCarthy calling the plays where he was expecting, and Mike McCarthy said something, he went, okay, I have to hit these 3 reads or I have to do these 4. And now he's running on, if he doesn't have in the first 2, he knows he can scramble. And I think he's kind of figuring out things on his own that he has to be an independent thinker. He has to be able to do his own things. And I'm not saying that Mike McCarthy's calling bad plays. I'm saying that it's a different coaching style that took him a little bit to get into the season to where now he feels comfortable in it to make his own decisions and make the right reads and go do the things, as opposed to, this play should work. I'm being told the play should work if I do everything right, and it's not working.
Yeah, no, isn't that not a testament to Mike, though, of that allowing him to be his own QB
I think he's
in
just
the
lazy.
system?
But
what about all that drilling they did on the timing of footwork to the route in the offseason?
The footwork's big, I know, and the footwork stuff is huge. We've seen that he has more confidence in that. Dak Prescott's confidence is at an all-time high.
It's never been low. The decision-making has been terrible.
No, but there's a difference of confidence of, I'm figuring things out, I'm playing really well, and confidence of we can be better is a different type of confidence than what Dak Prescott has now. Dak Prescott has we are good confidence, not we can be good confidence.
Fair enough.
I think that was kind of for a lot of it was, guys, if X, Y, and Z happen, then we're a full team. And now he's like, I have to go do X, Y. I get it now. Okay, I get it. I have to do it.
It was on me to get X, Y, Z done.
Yeah, it's no, they're not going to get it. And if I don't pick to choose to target CeeDee Lamb, the coach may not do it. I have to pick it. If I see the route and I see a guy up on CeeDee Lamb, I know to get it. If I see Ferguson and they're trying to stick a slow linebacker on him, then I'm going to go throw it to Ferguson.
By the way, leading receiver last night.
Yeah.
Ferguson.
Yeah, he was. And CeeDee Lamb was right behind him.
Yeah.
But that's the thing is I can read the matchup now, and I'm not worried about Kellen Moore calling a play before the matchup was seen.
Oh.
Or Mike McCarthy calling a play before the matchup was seen and then doing what they wanted without the matchup. That's what I mean more of him picking the things out. I'm finding the best matchup. I'm trusting myself to go with that matchup, and now we're doing better, which I don't think Kellen Moore or Mike McCarthy would mind making the play work, but you can't predict beforehand who they're going to go put out on a guy. If they say, well, your number one option is Brandon Cooks, and they double team Brandon Cooks, and they put a defensive lineman out on CeeDee Lamb, you're throwing CeeDee Lamb 100% of the time, right? Even if he's your 5th option.
This season he is. Last season
he's throwing to Brandon Cooks.
1-2, hit my read. 1-2, hit my read.
And that's what I'm saying. I think this season he's getting more into, okay, let me read the pre-snap what the defense is doing, and take what they're giving me, as opposed to doing exactly what I'm supposed to do in the play, which works against bad teams because those coaches could call against bad teams. Now against good teams, you have the weapons. This is why you get so many weapons for a team, because the more weapons you get, the more mismatches you're going to have.
Right.
And one of your guys is going to be in single coverage, and one of your guys is going to have the weaker defender on them. Well, and you're going to be able to go out there and get it. And that's not stake that, we saw Jalen Hurts is still working through that because he kept throwing to A.J. Brown. I know it's A.J. Brown, but he apparently pissed off Gilmore at the beginning of the game by calling him old.
Man, no, they were getting into it. There was like 2 plays in. They were already in each other's face, grabbing each other's face mask, and Gilmore followed A.J. Brown the rest of the evening, right on his hip. I absolutely love seeing Gilmore have one night in shining because I don't know if he can recreate that every night like he used to when he was Defensive Player of the Year.
No, I don't think so. But it does help you now with Deron Bland. He got all the attention for the most pick sixes, and they went right after him. Seattle went right after Deron Bland.
At him.
And so you had to kind of adjust. You had to adjust because, okay, well, they're going to go right at Deron Bland because they know he's being opportunistic. So let's try and get Gilmore on their main guy and see if we can get Gilmore in there and just kind of play more shutdown. We won't get the interceptions. We don't need him as long as they're punting the ball.
Yeah. No.
And you saw that kind of play. And it was just, I think the adjustments by Dan Quinn, after being exposed for the 3rd time in the season, and kind of realizing I need to change something in this because the defense is really good, but it doesn't mean anything. He changed and did what he needed to do. We know that the Cowboys offense has been rolling. The Cowboys offense didn't need any adjustments really.
No.
But they're continuing on. Ferguson's continuing to grow. I mean, it is. Right now, if you watch this Cowboys team, the only thing you're worried about is peaking too early, and that's not the worst thing in the world to be worried about. But, you go, well, is this a peak? And then, you kind of run out of steam in the playoffs because that's been a problem before. But at the same point, you're peaking at the hardest part of your schedule.
Yeah, and I think they've been building to this ever since that 42-10 loss to the 49ers because they have been pouring it on people outside of one loss to Philly in between there. And we all know 1st and goal at the 5, 30 seconds, imploded. Yeah, we've been over that. But they have been building up to this point, and that's why I love that this is the point of the schedule it happened. You have to stay ready for these next 3 games.
You do. You do have to stay ready. You have to stay going. And you got to stay ready for the Commanders. We know they're going to be out of the playoffs.
Sure.
But you could be fighting right now for the number 1 seed, depending on how the rest of the season shakes out.
Right.
So, and you want that bye week because,
you want the home field.
You want the home field, but you also that bye week of, letting your players rest up as guys are getting more and more banged up throughout the season is not a bad thing to have.
Yeah.
So I think there's a lot going into it, but you couldn't have asked for a better result out of that game, that your offense still looked good. Your defense looked really good. And, we can say all day long the Eagles are struggling right now. The people are, now getting on that the Eagles are garbage.
Pretenders, phonies.
Which,
it's all coming out. Come on.
They're still good. It's just, how long can you push the same kind of thing? You just have to keep growing. I think Jalen Hurts is kind of beat up as well. But they'll continue to get better and move on. They needed a wake-up call, and getting, we saw San Francisco 49ers get their wake-up call. They lose 3 straight games going to that bye week and come out and look unbeatable.
No, they haven't looked the same since, yeah.
But I think the Eagles right now getting smoked by the 49ers, getting smoked by the Cowboys, they're getting their wake-up call now. Okay, everybody, this is no longer – we weren't able to go in and just on sheer will beat the Cowboys, which we kind of thought we could.
Yeah, they thought they could just out-football the Cowboys.
And they could.
Yeah.
So if we see that, and the tush-push still worked, it's great. That was about the main thing that worked well for them in that game.
It was about the only positive play they had going.
Yeah, and I mean, if you look at it, that they scored 13 points, and one of that is on just Dak Prescott having a brain fart and not covering up the football while he's getting hit.
You just can't explain that play.
Yeah. I mean, it probably cost him the MVP.
Okay. All right. Let's take it easy.
All right.
There is one sour note I want to get to. Hankins in the middle of that Cowboys defense, huge in run stuffing. They say he's a high ankle sprain, and the projections right now are hopefully he's back by the playoffs. So that's going to hurt these next few weeks.
It is. And look, now if he's got Trevor Lawrence ability, he's back next week.
Yeah, go get that doctor.
But no, it is sad to see that. Hopefully Mozzie Smith is going to be able to step into that role. We know he wasn't great at the beginning of the season, but he's a rookie. So we'll see if he's going to be able to step up and be able to fill that gap for 3 to 4 weeks.
I think his biggest issue is gas tank. I think being able to keep Mozzie Smith on the field for a long, sustained drive.
But now you're saying, okay, now this is it. This is where we get to kind of test you out. This is why you want depth at that position.
Yeah.
So this is what we'll see with Mozzie Smith. I agree with that.